I can say welcome back to Shay and Hygge, where we sip our Egyptian tea, Shay Beleben, if that's what you like, and sometimes spill it, all while we Hygge, embracing the Danish art of cozy living. If you haven't yet, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and check out our other channels on Instagram and Spotify for the full Shay and Hygge experience. Now grab your Shay and let's Hygge. Hi, Phoebe.
I know, huh? What an intro. Well done on that intro.
Thank you. Episode 2. I've been excited since we recorded our first because I'm like, I want to do one more. And
Yeah,
now,
it was quite like an exciting feeling afterwards. It was quite like an adrenaline rush. Like I've
yes.
got more in me. Yeah, it felt
Yeah,
good.
exactly. For sure.
And I'm also excited about this episode because we've put a little structure to
Yes,
to our planning now, which I think will add to the fun. Actually,
I agree. I think it's gonna make it flow a little better, or that's my
yeah,
hope at least.
yeah.
Also, I actually want to address something. Let's hope I remember what I told myself not to do. But when I heard the episode back, the first episode, I realized how much I said like.
Hmm.
Like every other sentence, like I have to say like. Anyway, so take a sip of your Shay every time I say the word like.
That is
But
the point.
I'm trying to think, or maybe try not to say it as much now and be more mindful of how I say my sentences and not say like all the time. So
Yeah,
let's see how it goes.
I think you'll do fine. It is crazy to hear yourself back and to be like, is that really what I sound like when I talk? I didn't
Exactly.
realize how much I repeat myself or like how much I'm like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah, we got it the first time. Like,
I heard that was a symptom of ADHD, but I'm not a psychiatrist or anything.
subtle thing. But yes, I think I have quite a
No,
few
I'm
ADHD
right there.
symptoms.
I am right there with you. Trust you me.
Yeah, I think I've got a lot of the ADHD symptoms, which I am learning to embrace.
Mhm.
There's some beauty being in an ADHD. There's some beauty in having ADHD.
But we have an agenda for today. We've
We
actually done
do.
some homework.
We did.
And the first point is reaffirming podcast name. But maybe with that intro, it's kind of affirmed.
The
I don't
intro,
know.
the title to the podcast.
Exactly.
So we've chosen Shay and Hygge over falafel and frikadeller. And
Exactly.
yeah, we discussed it in the last episode, but that is the name. And I like it. I think it embodies a lot of what the podcast is about.
I totally agree. It also makes the topics that we talk about more, how do you say it? Like it's still not as confined and okay, we have this specific topic that we talk about. We can still see what works. We can still build on what the audience, whoever is going to listen to us, wants to hear. Because I also like, here's also the nerdy part about it. Because when I was looking at the analytics on YouTube, I said to myself, I should do an Excel sheet and kind of see which
Love it.
episodes have what, like, what makes this one more appealing, has more
Hmm.
views. And also, I'm still learning how the whole YouTube algorithm and analytics work. So it's coming. Yeah, so I'm getting a bigger picture, or there are more pieces of the puzzles that are being put together, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it a fun process? Has it been a fun process so far?
Is. I
Yeah, I
actually
can
like
imagine.
it. And I actually have a lot of fun doing this. So recording with you, of course, because it's like just having a conversation like we normally
Yeah.
do, just recording it, right? And also the editing part, because it's so easy. We use
Hmm.
Riverside for editing. It's super easy and convenient. I can, do it in a couple of minutes, actually. And it's just overall a fun process for me, which I think is very important in also trying to stay consistent and trying to, how do you say, keep it alive, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. Get it running up first and then keep it alive. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. No, I think yeah, I think it's a really good choice that we chose Riverside. It seems really, really user friendly and seems like we can do a lot. And even with like the shorts that it's giving us for YouTube and for Instagram. By the way, follow us on
Mhm.
YouTube and Instagram at Shay and Hugo. That's the what's it called? This is how much of a newbie I am. The tag name for the
We're learning,
podcast.
we're learning. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Follow us on YouTube and Instagram with the
And
handle
Spotify.
at Shay and Huger and Spotify with the handle at Shay and Huger to get the full episodes and some shorts. But yeah, I think like Riverside has really made it so easy to upload the shorts
It really,
and
really
edit
has.
them and like they do such a good job in selecting it. We're not getting paid by Riverside, by the way, but
We're
it's
not.
just true.
We just really like it
Yeah,
genuinely. So,
genuinely.
but so maybe we should talk about how often we want to post, at least
Yeah,
episodes, because, shorts are like, they come in between the episodes, I guess.
yeah. So yeah, we've decided to release an episode every 2 weeks, every Wednesday specifically in Europe, I guess European Central Time. It will be like in the evenings, late evenings. So, if you're looking forward to the next launch, the next release, it's every second Wednesday. All right. We're gonna. So far, we've done a pretty good job staying on top of it, and we're gonna do our best. Well, except for
Yes.
today. Today,
It's Thursday
today is
today.
an
That's true.
exception. It's only because I flew back from Egypt yesterday. A friend of mine has started an NGO to help some like underprivileged kids in Egypt. And yeah, and it's called Lotus Buds. And if you want to donate, please go to lotusbuds.dk. It's for a really good cause. The kids basically have a very like tough upbringing and are not getting good support at school or at homes. So she's created a space for them where they can get extra support, get extra recognition, and just, learn some basic skills to get them started in life, to get them, to let them have good opportunities.
That is super nice.
Yeah, it's great. She's doing an amazing job. Like she's created such an amazing project in the last 2 weeks, and the kids have really already benefited from it. But I contribute in my own way. Um, and I was there for 3 days just to help out and contribute where I can, which is in education. And yeah, so I flew to Egypt and came back to Brussels last night at midnight. So I'm also slightly sleep
Oh,
deprived. Been like didn't get much sleep in the last 2 nights, but yeah, I'm
and
cracking,
I
still cracking.
really
It's good.
appreciate your dedication to this, honestly. Thank you for being
Like
here
it's
today,
so
Phoebe.
fun. No, thank you, please. And I'm so fun to do this, and especially with you. So like super happy.
Wise.
Like
Like,
it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm dragging myself to do this. I'm so tired. I'm like, no, I'm actually really excited to do this. So
yeah,
it's great.
likewise. Sure, it
Yeah,
is.
thanks. Yeah. So
But we will.
yeah.
I think we should link the website in the description bar
Yeah.
for people to
Uh
visit.
I will add you can sign up for a membership and just pay like an annual fee, which is not so much and that helps a lot. Or you can just donate one time whatever amount you want on lotusbuds.dk. And yeah, like Noah said, we'll link it down or link it somewhere. Link it in the
Yes,
caption.
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. So then, so in going into our segments and how we have constructed, how we have planned our lovely podcast episodes, I'm actually really excited. Uh, we can I'll well, we can go through the agenda like what we've planned, and then we can see if we want to edit it out or keep it in. Uh, but we've got so the way we're going to structure this episode, so you know what to look forward to, is we've put in a segment called Child Moment of the Week. Noah is a mother and I am a teacher, so we are around children and like part of the reason why we wanted to do this podcast together is to share our experience with kids from a mother's perspective and from a teacher's perspective. So that is why we have a segment called Child Moment of the Week, where we're just going
Mm,
to share whatever moment that stood out with a child that week. It could be a loving moment, a crazy moment, tearing your hair out moment,
yeah.
a funny moment. So, yeah. And then after that, we're going to ask each other some questions. We'll have like an interview round where we choose a topic. A topic can be related to whatever, but yeah. Like for today, it's about growing up as an Arab abroad. We both have Egyptian parents, and we grew up in Denmark, in Copenhagen. So that's also something that we relate to with each other and can hopefully relate to some of our audience members as well, or you can relate to the things that we are saying. And then
Mm,
the last segment for today is called My Two Ura. And that's a segment basically. So Ura is like the translation or an equivalent of a cent in English. So then it would be like my 2 cents. But because this is
mm.
Shay and Hugo, follow us on YouTube and Instagram at Shay and Hugo. And that is
And
basically
Spotify.
where we just
That's it, and
share our
Spotify.
and Spotify. I keep forgetting
Because that's
Spotify,
actually
goddamn.
where we have our lowest traffic, which is fine. It's fine.
Yeah. It'll pick up.
Um,
It'll pick up.
yeah, yeah,
We'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, this segment, My Two Eras, is basically where we just share our opinions about whatever's on our mind. Sometimes you just have this weird random topic that you just like keep circling back to every now and then. And that's just like, hanging on your mind. So this is a segment where we get to just share opinions over some shay. And that's the plan for
exactly.
today.
You know what really worked really well last episode was every time we would talk about a specific topic and something else comes up in the middle of the conversation, I would say, put a pin in it. And that actually helped us kind of how to construct this episode and
Mm,
get the ball rolling on that one. So maybe I should continue doing that. What do you think, Phoebe?
I love the put a pin in it. I love that. Keep doing it for sure. I
I
loved
will
it.
then.
It was super helpful. All right. So, Noha, what is your child moment of the week?
Okay. So as I've mentioned before, I have a daughter. She's 4. So she's at a very funny age and very push buttons age. But I think that's every has their push buttons moments. But I've noticed that my daughter is, I would say, personality wise, reminds me more of her dad.
Mm,
Because when I was a kid, I was not that fast on my feet, like at all. So we had a play date arranged last Sunday, and she wanted to take some toys with her. She put them in a bag, and I told her to hold it because she's the one who wants to take it with her. So you can hold your own stuff. It wasn't that heavy, it was just a few small toys. So she holds the bag for a bit. We're walking from the car to the house where the play date is. And it's not a long walk, but at some point she lifts her arms up and tries to give me the bag. And I'm asking her, do you want me to hold your bag for you? Because it's your stuff, you know? And she's like, but mom, you're just so good at carrying bags. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even mad. Give me that bag. I'll hold it for you. You're a genius kid. You're just fast on your feet. I really love it. You know what? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
can imagine her saying it. Like, it's so cute.
To
That's brilliant.
if there's anyone Danish out there listening to me, I will say it in Danish. Said, "Min mor, du er bare så god til at holde poser." I mean, she made it sound like I was doing something that would
Yo,
change her world. But I mean,
she's gonna get far in life. She's already cracked the code to life. She's already cracked the code to life right there.
I will give you one more real quick
Yeah.
because the fact that you said she's going places, I completely agree. Not because I'm her mom, but because listen to this. So there was one day I came home from work, I was exhausted, like really tired. And we always read her a bedtime story. It's mostly my husband who does it, but sometimes, we flip the bedtime routine and So that day I had to read her a bedtime story, but I was just so tired. So I said, "Sweetheart, is it okay that we don't read a bedtime story today and, I can read maybe two tomorrow or whatever, right?" And she said, "But why?" And I said, "I'm really, really tired, to be honest." And she said, "Well, you can lay down and read."
Mm.
Sure, I cannot argue with that. If I'm too tired, I should like it's logic, right?
It is. It's logical. It's logical. It's also like it's a bit of also like flipping it back on the adults. Like, when I would try to get out of something, you hold me to it. So why are you trying to get out of this? She's
Exactly.
going
You know
places.
what?
I'm saying
I'm
she's
not
going
even
places.
mad. Like,
No.
stay genius, kid. I love it.
Yeah. She knows how to get what she wants. She knows how to
Yeah, exactly. So, guess what mom did? She laid down and read a bedtime story.
of course. I mean, what are you gonna do after that? What are you gonna do after
Exactly.
that
She made
sound
her
logic?
case. She made her case, and I agreed, and then I gave my verdict. It was yes. So, that was my child moment of the week. What about you, Phoebe?
So we've actually been on autumn break for the last week. So I haven't been around children this week, but
Blessing?
I will no, it's my well, no, I mean I was around children yesterday at Lotus Buds, but that was only for like 15 minutes and like nothing really stood out. But I do have one from last week before we went off on autumn break
Okay.
where so I have a pretty I have a class that's full of characters.
Nice.
And usually every day in the morning, my day starts at 8 a.m. in the morning with two kids making parakeet sounds at the top of their lungs. Okay. By the way, I don't teach like 5, 6 year olds. I teach like 10, 11-year olds. Okay. So like
Mm,
they're able to control themselves. They should be, but they're just so that's usually how I start my day. And I it's already testing my patience. 'Cause some days I'm only on my, like, 2nd cup of coffee at that point, and I'm like, this is way too early. This is way too early to be making these sounds." Anyway, and I digress a little. So, going back to my child moment of the week, there was one morning where I came in, and teachers will also be able to relate to this, who teach primary in particular. But when you have, like, moments where you've just got 5 kids talking to you at the same time. So, seriously, I think all I did was put my handbag down on the desk, and already like 4 kids were talking to me at the same time about I don't know what, because you can't hear you can't hear what anyone is saying when you've got 4 of them talking to you at the same time. And I had one of those moments where I just stood there like, oh my God. Like as they're talking to me, I'm like, oh my God, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. Why? And while I'm just having this moment, I realize that one of the kids that's talking to me is not even talking to me. He's just there going 6 7 6 7 6 7 6
no.
7. I was like this. I was like, you're not even saying word. You see that there's 3 other ones that are talking to me, and you decide that this is a good time for you to come and be like 6 7 6 7 6 7. I was just like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, guys. Like autumn break is around the corner, guys. Like, come on.
I wonder if he's like, I can't stay silent too long. I need to get something out.
I mean, to be fair, he is one of the kids that starts the morning usually making parakeet sounds. So,
Okay. I mean, okay.
it tracks. But yeah, that was interesting. And this whole 6 7 thing, I don't know if you know it. I don't know if you've seen it or heard it.
Well, I've seen it.
It's
And
blowing up.
let me tell you, I feel really old when I'm becoming the generation who's like this generation, you know?
Right. Right.
Because I remember it being said to me and it doesn't feel that long ago, to be honest.
That's the thing. And I've been really trying hard to not be one of those people that's like this generation. Because like, every generation has its quirks, let's say, right?
Mm.
But yo, at least, and I think I sent you a meme about this or a GIF with this. At least
Oh,
like
we've sent several
previous.
to each
Yes,
other,
that's
I
true.
think.
That's very true. It's almost like the only way that we communicate some days, like some for
Girl.
weeks. But it's
But
fun.
then
I
we're
love it.
updated, like, you know where I am at by my reels.
Exactly what's going on in my life.
Like, you're updated now. You know what I'm going like, "This is my week, Phoebe. This is what I'm
Yeah.
going through."
Yeah. Usually can relate to it. But yeah, but at least like from previous generations, like the things, what's it called? The trends and stuff from previous generations had something behind them, had some meaning behind them, right? This generation, it has no, 6, 7 has no meaning. And you ask them about most of their slang and you're like, what does that mean? And they're like, nothing really. It just means like cool. I'm like, so why don't you just say cool? Because it's not cool. It's Sigma. Like, what is Sigma? Sigma is a Greek alpha. It's a Greek letter in the alphabet, from what I know. What are
No,
you
that's true,
saying?
it's true. What is sig like, yeah, yeah. But I would argue that our parents' generation felt the same way about the stuff we said. I know it makes sense to us because it makes sense to us. We're the ones who used it, we're the ones who created it. So when we're like, you're too old, like, you don't get it, blah, blah, blah. I honestly can see the newer, like, the younger generation doing the same towards us. And that's fair and that's life. And that's, yeah. But doesn't mean now I don't know. Are we going getting canceled episode 2? I don't know, but I'm just gonna say it. It doesn't mean it annoys me less. I just
Yeah,
understand. That's
yeah.
that's the course we're, the circle of life, if you will.
Those people now are those millennial. I also like, I'm loving the GIFs out there about millennials and like the reality of being a millennial, like mainly about how millennials are just this odd generation of a mix of things. Of like, by a mix of things, I mean like we grew up with no internet. We saw the rise of internet. We know how to use it. And I think,
Mm.
and speaking as a teacher, I think millennials are actually oh, this is going to be controversial, but in
Well, the
some ways,
shade, please.
in some ways, we have better technology skills than Gen Z does. I know they know how to put a video together for TikTok and Instagram, and I don't know how to do that. And they are amazing at doing that. They do a fantastic job. But ask them to make a PowerPoint presentation. Like, but ask them to write an email.
I wonder if they have tools that are similar where they're like, is PowerPoint even necessary anymore? Or no, they don't. Okay, as a teacher, you would know. So I guess they don't then. Phoebe is shaking her head to those who
Yeah,
can't see her,
yeah,
which is
sorry.
everyone.
And I'm yeah, and I'm shaking my head like adamantly, like no. It's it's a lack of, they know how to use, they know video game websites. They know YouTube Shorts. They know, yeah, like I said, Instagram and making videos. They don't know the difference. Okay, I once gave an assignment where I was like, okay, you guys have to kind of write a project and then, or you have to, yeah, it was about, yeah, it was about cultural celebrations. You have to make a presentation about a cultural celebration. Okay, cool. Some of them made their cultural celebration that they had to share with the class on Word or on Google Doc, where I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, where I'm like, but like, why didn't you choose to go with slides or like what? Like for me, it just didn't make sense. Okay.
Mm,
Another time, I got them to write a newsletter, and I made it very clear. I was like, I'm going to be editing the newsletter, so please send it to me either by email or by Word, so that I can easily copy it into the one document. Okay, just write your articles,
right.
write your parts, and then send it to me either like in one of those things. And then one girl, and I also made it clear, like, your article should be at least this many sentences describing whatever it is, the event that happened, or describing whatever the colleague said, blah, 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 blah. Whatever their section was about, I made it very clear what they had to write as well, like a few sentences and blah, 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 blah. One girl made her thing, made her point, and she was writing about events, a school event. Made her thing on Google Slides in bullet points. You know what word is missing? So this is actually, you know what? I was actually thinking, but I forgot about this. I should have added it in my to era this time, but I'm gonna like, little extra thing here. One word that this generation hasn't, or like one phrase that this generation hasn't heard enough. Oh my God, I'm really sounding like this that old person that this generation.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
But one phrase they have not heard enough is common sense.
I did not
Guys,
expect that.
guys, where's the common sense? Like sometimes you see them do some things and you're like, where's the common sense? Going back to like, three students talking to me at the same time, and then one just being like, 6, 7, 6, 7.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Where's the common sense sometimes? But yeah, it's a different generation. There's a different way of having fun.
Exactly. They
It's a
have to go
different,
through it.
they do, they do. I love my students, really. I really do love my students. I can also say wonderful things about them, but wow, there's some days that, there's some moments that are just exceptional where you're just like, okay, it lasts.
But I've told you this before, Phoebe, I really have much respect for caregivers, like for children, like daycare or teachers in elementary school, primary school, because you guys have the patience. I'm an engineer for a reason, but I have so much respect for teachers. Honestly, don't think I would be able to do it. I think it's difficult with one kid. Come on. You have like, I don't know how many kids in a classroom every day. So hats off to you for real. You're
Yeah,
the real MVP, dude.
it's a jungle out there, man. It's a war zone some days. You just have to go out alive and just be happy that no one's bleeding.
Yeah. Yeah. I
No,
feel you.
it's good. It's like it's great. I also think sometimes that one of the reasons why I really enjoy working with kids is because they are so unhinged, but it's so real.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I sometimes I can't imagine. I meet some adults that work in like offices and like, official places. And just how like they're so like, yes, I did. But did you see the stock market? And like they're so kind of like uptight and like they're talking in a way where they're just constantly trying to impress you, or like reading out their CVs and whatever. And you just have
Mm,
to like constantly be impressed, like, oh wow, oh really, oh wow, that's amazing, oh how interesting, you really are saving the world with like God knows what, like your startup about whatever, your startup with your new brand or whatever. And sometimes I also find it difficult to have to do that all day long. Like,
mm.
I don't have to suck up to kids. They have to suck up to me.
Makes so much
No,
sense.
they don't. I hate it when they suck up to me. I hate it when they suck up to me. I hate sucking up. That's why I don't work in offices.
Mhm. Tell me about it.
Yeah,
Corporate
because
world is yeah.
I mean, it's no different in schools in the sense of like there is office politics as well, and in schools between teachers and
Yeah.
admin and all of that. But I don't spend, you know, I don't always like I am in class with kids for, let's say, at least 5 hours of the day
Right.
out of 8 hours, So
Yeah.
most of my time is just around these unhinged little crazy love monsters that just wanna like that
Oh.
just want your love all the time. I even asked, going back to the whole kids talking to you at the same time thing, or just talking to you like even when they have nothing to say. I had one student one time that was just like kept talking to me about random things and asking me random things while they were having some free time and I was working. And I wanted to like I was writing an email and I wanted to finish it, but he wanted to come and talk. So I was answering him like, yep, yep, yeah. And I kind of hoping that he would eventually get the hint and go away that I was busy.
Mm.
And then but he just kept on, like, asking me these, like, really random questions. And then I just looked at him and I'm like, "Are you just talking to me for the sake of talking to me?" And he just looked at me with, like, this huge smile on his face, and he was like, "Yeah." Like,
Aw.
it's super cute. It's super cute. It's super cute.
What I was
And, like,
gonna
yeah.
say was it must feel really rewarding as a teacher having those students as well. Like even if it's hard also during the day, like in the thick of it, when you have moments like that, it must be really rewarding as well.
Yeah, it's great. It's great, and it's authentic, it's real, it's pure love, you know? So,
Mm,
it's you can't
yeah.
take it for granted, even when there's a kid that I'll be honest, again, I love my students, I love most of my students, but every now and then, there's one kid that, like, really I have to be like, "Take it easy." He's just like, he's, that can just be really annoying. Like, there are some kids that are just really annoying, right? And you try to like them the same way you like the others, but, like, just yeah, everything they do is just like, "Oh my god, why dude, like, why do you not see how this just adds to chaos? Like, what are you doing?" But he is also trying really, really, really hard to, like, behave better and, like, do better, and,
Mm,
yeah, even just, like, seeing him trying, I'm like, "Okay." It gives me more to work with in terms of patience for him. I'm just more like,
mm,
"Okay, I can be more patient with him because he is actually trying. He's trying to be better."
yeah, that makes sense.
So, segment 2 of our podcast will be the
Which is, I
interviewing
would
round.
say, considered the main topic of the episode.
The main topic of the
Even though we're 36 minute I mean, now recording, we're 36 minutes in. I don't know how long the
Yeah.
editing will, yeah, make it. But
Hopefully,
the
we've got, like,
growing
really good
sorry,
no, I was just gonna say hopefully we've got really good many good parts for shorts and stuff like that.
agree.
Yeah. Alright, let's go.
So, our main topic of today would we I mean, I'm just gonna read the agenda to be honest, because I'm just gonna throw ourselves in there and say growing up as an Arab abroad. In this case, two Egyptians in Denmark, Scandinavia.
That's right. That's right. In good old Copenhagen.
You know, I thought about I don't know how much I think it's okay because it's part of us, and I think it's okay because, that's how we grew up as well. But I would say if we just sprinkle a little bit of the religion aspect is also okay because, we have also two different perspectives from that point of view, if that makes
True.
sense.
That's true, yeah. Yeah,
So not only Arab, but one is Christian, one is Muslim. So
we've
that's
got that
also,
going as well.
yeah.
That's true. How did we actually overlook that in our planning?
Also because when we talk about it, we do know we have two different faiths and there are fundamental stuff that we have different, you know, experiences with, but we still are very curious about each other's perspective from a religious point of view. Also, because we're both Egyptian, that makes it a little bit, there's some stuff like, do you also do this? How do you celebrate this? What is your religion's view on this? And it could be stuff also happening in Egypt. But I think we always stay respectful and we can agree to disagree. That's okay. We're still good friends. We can still respect each other. We still have a great relationship. And that's what's important, I think.
That's one thing I definitely appreciate about our friendship is that, like, we've always been able to have very honest conversations about our faith and, like, getting curious. Like, we're both very open-minded in talking about our own experience and, like, each other's experiences. And we also, like, yeah, we speak very honestly about it, I think.
Mm,
And it's great to that we do get to share that because I don't know how common that is. I mean, I like of course a lot of Muslims and Christians are friends and in Egypt a lot of Muslims and Christians are friends, but I don't know how common it is to speak the way that we speak about our faith because we're
Mm.
Both believe in our religions.
Yes.
I believe in the teachings of, like, the Coptic Orthodox Church, and you believe in the teachings of Islam, and try our best to follow our faiths, and, we're also human after all,
Mm.
but we try our best with it, and, we can relate to each other from that point of view, but at the same time, we also understand that we can learn more through each other, through our conversations about religion and through each
For
other's
sure.
perspectives. So, and
100%.
I definitely appreciate that we can do that. I also wanted to add that about the fact that we're Christian and Muslim, both from Egypt, and that perspective that that adds. Even the fact that, like, yeah, we're both from Egypt, two different religions, and then that our experience as our respective religions in Denmark. So your experience as a Muslim in a
Mm.
Christian country, my experience as a Christian in a Christian country, and vice versa. Like your experience as a Muslim in a Muslim country, my experience as a Christian in a Muslim country.
Yeah.
So that's also a really interesting perspective that we can touch on.
That's so true. But I
All
guess
right.
that also all this talk we've been talking also kind of how do you say spill into our topic today because it's still relevant for what we're going to talk about.
That's
Because
right.
if I may ask the first question
Yes,
for
please go
you,
ahead.
my dear, how did you feel different from ethnic Danes growing up or from other nationalities living in Denmark?
Lovely question. Love that as a first question. So I definitely felt different from ethnic Danes. I mean, from the mere fact of just looking different,
Mm,
like just having like dark skin and dark hair. So, it's very clear that like I'm not ethnically Danish. And even when we were younger, and I would say like, oh, I'm from Denmark. Danish people at the time were very quick
mm,
to be like, no, you're not. Like, where are you from, really? Like, explaining my family's from Egypt and yada, yada, yada. Also, because, like, I think this is also a common experience for many immigrants, but usually at home, the experience that you have is still very much tied to your country of origin. So you're
mm.
still eating the foods from your country of origin, still like the traditions that you're doing and like movies that you're watching, music that you're listening to, and dynamics that you're experiencing are usually from the country of origin. So like, and I didn't go to a Danish school. I've always gone to an international school. So I would have this like quite Egyptian experience at home. And then outside of the home, most of my experience was with international people,
Mm,
which also answers the part of your question of like how I related to like other ethnicities. Because in the international school, we're all different, everyone's from different background. And it's just nice. It's harder to feel different in that kind of environment because everyone is different.
right.
Whereas yeah, and then because of that, because of, like, the Egyptian at home, international at school thing, I didn't really mix much with Danish culture, so I never really
Mm,
felt like I related to it in that sense. So so not just, like, being different from ethnic Danes in the sense of, like, I look different, but I don't think I had at all a typical Danish experience growing up in Denmark. I mean, there's many things that I enjoy about my time in Denmark. There's many things that I appreciate, and of course the Danish culture has influenced me in several ways, and living in Denmark has influenced me in several ways in the way that I view things or think about things or appreciate cleanliness and convenience. Scandinavia is so like their systems are so advanced, it makes life very comfortable and very convenient, and it's great. So there's a lot of things that I do appreciate about Denmark and that I take with me,
mm.
but growing up, I've always felt very kind of distant from ethnic Danes.
Fair enough, because I feel like I've had a little different experience, even though I also went to an international school, but I moved to Egypt, as we talked about also in the last episode. But even though I was in an international school, my parents had signed us up for like, an after school club type of thing. It's mostly for kids, school kids who still want to have either have time with their friends after school, do something, creative or play sports, whatever. But it's like some kind of club. I don't know how to explain it, but in the ones that my brother and I used to go to, there were more ethnic Danes and I was more exposed to ethnic Danes there. And that's also how I learned I was different from, like you said, also like the how you look and your dark skin and your hair, but also that even though I wanted to be a part of it, I was somehow or I felt excluded somehow because someone didn't like my background or the way I looked or my religion. And I was very aware of that pretty early, actually. So maybe around 7, 8 years old, which is not cool, I would say.
I would say, and this is maybe controversial, and this is also why when I was sharing my experience, I emphasized that back then, what Danes, how Danes would respond, like, no, you're not Danish kind of thing. And
Mm.
this is not to offend anyone. And I think this is a very Pinterest kind of image of Denmark. And Denmark is a great country in many, many, many ways. Like all the good things that you hear about Denmark is true, but it's not that there's like a bad side to Denmark. I mean, there is a bad side to every country, but I think there's also some realities in Denmark that don't get spoken about often enough, or not often
For
enough
sure.
that don't get spoken about. And it's not to call Denmark out or anything. This was just a reality that I want to share.
Mm.
Anyway, I'm gonna get to it.
But it's our experience, which I think is fair that we talk about
That's
as
true.
it is. So,
That's
yeah.
true. But yeah, back in the days, Danes weren't always very kind towards immigrants. And I would say that like post social media with when like wokeness started coming about, I think that's when it had like a really like high curve. And then Danes became more tolerant and understanding of immigrants and stuff like that. But it was not uncommon to be excluded by Danes or to be reminded quite often that you are not one of them back in the days.
I'm not, I mean, guess what you're saying also is true. I'm not trying to discredit or say that,
Yeah.
but in my experience, I don't know if it's because they've become more tolerant or if they're just hiding it more because, like you said, social media, you're going to get
Mm,
exposed. Someone is filming you while you're being a racist or whatever, you know?
it's true. I mean, because they still like make some pretty racist remarks every now and then.
Mm.
But yeah, it could be just more out of fear of being called out. No white person wants to be called racist. No one wants to be called racist,
Yeah,
really.
exactly. They get
Yeah.
really offended and, hits a nerve somehow.
Okay. Should I ask my question?
Yeah, go ahead.
How did your parents try to keep your cultural roots alive at home?
Oh my God. And I'm sure that it's not just a my mom thing, because I think it's all Egyptian moms thing. Not in a bad way necessarily, but it's trying to, as you said before, make the foods. And in my case, when it's Ramadan or Eid, which is our religious holidays, she would make the food that is specifically eaten during Ramadan, or also watching Egyptian movies, the black and white ones. I still love watching white Egyptian movies. Listening to, music. My dad was a very big Shabi fan. Ashabi is a genre in Egyptian music where it's, to explain it, I would say it's more of a working class type of genre. It comes from there, if that makes sense. So listening to stuff like that. Yeah, visiting Egypt every year during our summer vacation, very important. We did that religiously every year. So I got to know my grandparents and my cousins, my uncles, my aunts, all that stuff. I think also not only my parents, but our parents, all the other Egyptians that are our age, our parents' generation, I think they also felt the pressure of living abroad in a country that's not Arabic or have their culture background, all that stuff, and they really try to hold on to it. I can imagine that being really, really important for them and passing that down to their kids, which I really appreciate actually. I not that I don't think I'll ever feel 100% Egyptian even though I lived in Egypt, but at least they try to keep that part of my identity alive, and I really appreciate that. I feel like I got the best of both worlds, so I'm really grateful for that as well.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's
Yeah,
beautiful that we had that chance to grow up like that. And
definitely.
also because like I think Egyptian culture in general is a very rich culture.
It really is. And layers to it as well. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I don't necessarily want to say in contrast to Danish, but it's just in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to explain actually. If you know, you know. If you Arab living abroad or second generation living in a Western country, you know.
Like I landed in Egypt on Saturday, so 5 days ago. And it's just like just already on the first day, you're just like, Egypt is such a vibe. It's such a I mean, it's not just a vibe. It's Egypt is so many things. It's history, it's culture, it's like if yeah, social issues, like on so many levels. But it is at the same time such a vibe to be in Egypt. It's a magical place. Egypt is definitely a magical
Yeah,
place,
for
despite
sure.
some
Very different.
despite some like little annoying things about Egypt. But it's a magical place.
It is. It really is. But pros and cons to every country, I guess.
Exactly. Okay, so next segment is called My Two Era, which is my 2 cents on any topic that's been on our mind that
Yes.
we're just itching to talk about and see if, if other people have had the same thought and the same itch,
Mm.
or if we're just two crazies who enjoy random thoughts. So,
So
what's your 2 era?
today I would actually like to give my two euro on brain rot, just in general, but mostly because we have to do with kids, both of us, in one way or another. And I think I've become more mindful because I have a little human that I need to, get out to the world someday and need to be functioning, hopefully. But you know what? I'll start by saying the really big thing that comes to my mind. I'm really sorry. I don't know if this will get our video flagged. I don't know how it works. We can edit it out if it's gonna be an issue. But I would say actually YouTube for kids, even though it's YouTube Kids, there is unfortunately a lot of stuff on there that's not really monitored. And you know how you people say you end up in the wrong side of the internet. That's how keeping just, the videos going, yeah, selecting itself somehow end up, even though it's for kids and it's Miss Rachel and all of this, shout out to Miss Rachel. But even though it's all of that, I feel like at some point it comes to a place where I'm like, this is not for kids. It looks like it's for kids, but it's not. And I heard, actually, my husband told me this one, which makes a lot of sense. Someone said about brain rot on YouTube is if what's happening on the screen, not even an adult can say, like, there's an A, B, and C, like a start, middle, end. You have like you can comprehend from start to finish what's going on in the video. If you can't even do that as an adult, it's not for kids, it's not for anyone, it's brain
Mm.
rot. You're not getting anything out of it. So
Have you
we
ever
actually, I was just gonna say as a last thing, we actually banned YouTube from our daughter because of that. Like completely. Not even a little bit, so
Good. I fully support that. I fully support that. Have you ever have you ever caught going so far down into the rot section of YouTube?
I have. And for some time, we didn't think much of it. So I can give you an example. So one of the videos that I saw was on the screen at some point was a Spider-Man figure. So everything is animated and it's not something real from Disney or whoever has the characters, but so we have Spider-Man, and he's on some kind of what resembles Hot Wheels tracks, and he's
Mm.
just running around and falling off some cliff. And not that it looks very graphic. That's not what I meant. It just doesn't make any sense. And when I watched it, I'm like, what are you even watching? It didn't necessarily look harmful to the eye, but when you think about it, it doesn't do any good either. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, I also hear the kids sometimes talk about brain rot and actually refer to it. So they are, they know what it is, but they enjoy it, and they're like they will say full on like, "Oh, hey, have you seen that brain rot?" Or like refer to like specific brain rots. Like there's some brain rots that have like a reference to them, and they'll reference it
Mm.
like the Italian brain rot, for example.
Yes, heard of that as well.
So yeah, it's really not a good thing. And
No,
but yeah, like I was saying earlier as well, like this generation's relationship to the internet is slightly worrying.
exactly.
I think maybe what I was trying to say earlier is that like millennials have a more productive relationship with the internet than Gen Z does.
To all of the very few listeners we have,
Yeah.
we appreciate everyone is welcome. But to the people hearing us, if you haven't cashed on yet, but we're millennials, both of us. So that's why we talk
Oh
from a
yeah. Sorry.
millennial's perspective.
I don't mean to isolate the or what's it called? Yeah, and push away the Gen Zs. I love you guys.
No,
I also
no,
think I to be honest, I think Gen Zs are very resourceful and like
I agree.
they're gonna change a lot of things, which is
I
great.
so agree.
But we need to find a way to teach them because like yeah, yeah, they have different needs, I guess, and they're gonna be living in a different world than what we grew up in and what previous generations have grown up in. So yeah, we need to get a handle on their internet usage
Yeah, for sure.
and guide them through it a little bit better. I don't know, man, but yeah, it's gonna be a different world, and they're
It
gonna be part of building it.
definitely will. Yeah. And we're trying, I mean, it's just moving so fast with the changes around us, also with technology, developing so fast. And I don't know, like Gen X's must have felt also out of their element with the internet coming, in the 90s and, being more household is what I meant. And us having as millennials having maybe a little bit of a tough time navigating in Gen Z's world, which makes sense. Like every generation is going to have their different qualities and functions. I don't
Yeah,
know. You know what I
that's
mean?
true. Okay,
But what do you
so
say, Phoebe?
I would like to give my two euro on. All right. So I wrote down labeling, but I've
Mm,
decided last minute that I'm going to change it and not talk about labeling. I'll save that for another time
go ahead.
because
Yeah,
my two euro on labeling, it still needs a bit of maturing. It's not all the way there. So maybe like the next episode, I'll share that one. But I do have
fair
one
enough.
that is mature
Okay,
and that I'm more than happy to share. And you've already heard it, but
please.
I would like to give my two euro on the fact that we should bring back soap operas.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I so believe in it. I want to convert people into this, okay?
Phoebe's conspiracy theory or something.
Alright. Yeah, well, it's okay, it can go under conspiracy theory category, but I think we should bring back soap operas because I think if we bring back soap operas, the world will be a better place. Now, hear me out. When we had soap operas, we all watched like The Bald and the Beautiful. What's it called? Children of the Days. What was it called? That one. There's 90210, Bald and the Beautiful, and
Melrose Place?
Melrose
or
Place,
Days of Our
yes.
Lives, Days
Days
of
of
Our
Our Lives.
Lives.
Thank you. I don't know why I thought of the children. Well, and then maybe another one called All My Children, but okay. Anyway, and yeah, Days of Our Lives. Anyway, when we had those shows, we would all like be watching it at the same time and waiting for the episodes coming out at the same time and be up to date at the same time. So then, like, we could talk about, like, hey, did you see what happened in Bold and the Beautiful or whatever, whatever show you were watching, and like how Rodrigo cheated on Vanessa again. And, like, that would be the drama that filled our lives, right? Since
Sure.
soap operas have stopped, it has been replaced with reality TV. Okay.
Yeah.
And reality TV, like, has created this weird world where it has also seeped into other parts of our lives. For example, politics, okay? So,
Mhm.
because of reality TV, we got shows that, A, honestly showed how use people's negative traits, let's say,
Yeah, okay,
use
okay.
people's negative traits to just show ugly side of humanity, and that was reality. We call that reality. The ugliest ways, the ugliest sides of people became our entertainment, right? And it's different on a soap opera. It was the same with like the ugly sides of people, but at least on a soap opera, someone's long lost twin would come back from the dead, and then you are reminded that this is all just nonsense anyway. You know what I mean? There was an escape to the terribleness of things in a soap opera. Whereas with reality TV, there is no escape. This is what people are capable of doing. And it's even seeped into politics in the sense that we got the show Apprentice. In America, but I
Yeah.
watch a lot of American things. So, but they got the show The Apprentice, which made Donald Trump more famous. I mean, he was already a household name, but if people didn't start taking his opinions as seriously as they did, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't because okay, maybe successful businessman and whatever you want to say about him, but people started taking his opinions a little bit too serious, um, to the point where he became a credible to run for president of the United States. And
Can we
like,
curse on this show? I'm just gonna I have words to ask the whole episode. I was gonna say fucking president.
if we get in trouble, we get in trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like, had we had soap operas this entire time, I don't think we would be in this political climate. And at the same time, this like our feel for drama wouldn't be like we wouldn't be so polarized because the void for the soap opera drama has been filled with polarizing groups fighting each other. And that has also become our reality. That has replaced like soap opera drama and soap opera tension and soap opera adrenaline rush. It has now seeped into reality.
But okay, Phoebe, you know what? Counter argument. It's
Go
very
ahead.
niche which kind of people who like soap operas. You know what? I've also watched them. I'm not gonna say, that I'm better than someone, but whoever wasn't interested ever in soap operas, what did they spend their time doing? You know what I mean? So when you say you've replaced soap operas with reality TV, it's also very niche who watches reality TV. So yeah,
But
I don't
at the
know.
same time, nowadays, who doesn't watch reality TV? It's some kind of reality TV show.
That's also true. It depends on what type of reality TV. That's also
Exactly.
true.
Exactly. What I'm saying though is, it's like if we had soap operas, you could argue that there was a certain demographic for soap operas, but we
Mm,
all knew them, and we can even add like 90s sitcoms to the mix. Like Fresh Prince of Bel Air. We
fair
can
enough.
add
Fair
that
enough. Fair
to
enough.
the mix, right? That's another thing though. Like, the good thing about that time was that we all were watching the same shows, and that is what filled
Mm.
our not necessarily filled our conversations. We did other things as well, but like it filled something. It filled the space, some kind of space where we could talk about some nonsense, right? Whatever that is in relationships or in conversation, whatever you want to call that. But now that space has been filled with reality TV shows and the current which has resulted into the current political climate and the polarization that we see. That is
Mm.
my 2 cents right there. That was a good thing about people watching the same shows, which Netflix and, like, these streaming sites have also taken away because it's too many to choose from. So people are not watching the same things anymore, you know?
The too many to choose from, I agree. You know, it's really ridiculous. It's really a first world problem when I go
Yeah.
on to any streaming something, whatever, and I'm like, "What am I gonna watch?" And they have thousands of stuff to watch, and you're like, "What am I gonna watch?" That's really, really a first world problem, honestly. Too much to choose from.
Feel you. Shall we outro?
Let's outro. What a great episode. I actually really enjoyed our talk
I
today.
think so too, yeah. I think so too. It was really nice with the segments. I think the segments added really nice flow, and they were pretty fun segments as well.
Please let us know what you guys think. Should we continue with the segment? Should we bring something new? We will definitely try different stuff, but we'd like to know what you guys thought of it. Should we continue? What do you say? And also, again, a small humble reminder. Please make sure to like, subscribe. Please leave a comment and check out our other channels on Instagram and Spotify at Shay and Hugo. Thank you for tonight, Phoebe. It was so
Thank you.
hyggeligt
It was
in
lovely.
Danish.
It was really nice, yeah. It was fun to record that one.
It really was.
Yeah. I like the
So,
segment things.
yeah, me too. We will try some different stuff and see what people like.
Yay!